Welcome, everyone. We're ready to get started with our One Albuquerque and Volunteer of the Month Awards, and we decided to go on site today. And so we're here at beautiful South Broadway Library and Theater, and so it's a very wonderful facility if folks haven't been there. And I want to thank everyone who's here today. And as a reminder, so we're on GOV-TV, so it's kind of, why we're also talking to the camera. So, and sort of fitting because of Don. But anyway, so we're here today to do what we try and do about every month, which is recognize some folks who've done great things in our city, to just demonstrate that one Albuquerque spirit and how there's many ways in which each of us can do different things that makes our city a better place. And sometimes we do folks who work at the city, sometimes we don't. It's always a mixed bag. Today we're really focusing on some amazing folks who work with the city. And so I want to begin with our One Albuquerque Awards. So Sarah Grubb and Laura Metzler are here, and they are in some ways indirectly famous because many people remember Don Schrader, a famous GOV-TV personality, public access personality, and a critic and vocal advocate at City Council for decades, so long that I remember Don like when I was in high school on TV at midnight. So we're glad he's still at it. Of course, he was tragically, unfortunately, a hit-and-run accident occurred right outside this library. And what happened, though, is Sarah and then Laura rose to the occasion and ran out and helped him and took care of him until the ambulance arrived. And they also made sure that Don's belongings were taken care of. And folks in the South Broadway know Don lives around here, so I've seen him often crossing that street and so forth. So he's a fixture in our community and in this neighborhood. And so we understand that he is recovering at least, and we hope to see him back on TV soon. And we're very grateful that Sarah and Don took action in that true One Albuquerque spirit and helped out Don. And also the other people who stopped by. There was a nurse, there was a tow truck driver, there were some others who helped out. And so we all wish Don a speedy and healthy recovery. So with that, let's maybe bring you two up. And if you'd like to say any additional remarks, you can, or you don't have to, but we have certificates for you. And some fun One Albuquerque pins. And actually, I should know. So congratulations. Oops. I think you have each other's certificate. Do you want to share a few thoughts? It's up to you. So come on up to the podium is yours. Yeah.
Thank you. I was telling the mayor earlier, I just wanted to reiterate how gratifying it was to me when this happened, how many people, not because it was Don, just because there was somebody who was hurt, jumped into action and helped in any way that they could. So if you are talking about the One Albuquerque spirit, that really seems to me to exemplify it, that so many people were ready to immediately rush over and help Don in his hour of need, as it were. So it was very gratifying to me as a city employee to see that. Thank you.
You got it.
So I'd just like to add that working in libraries, we see community so uniquely. And so I want to add that I have really enjoyed being specifically here at South Broadway, but just seeing the changes that the movement towards One Albuquerque has kind of made in community in the areas. All right, thank you.
Okay, so we also want to acknowledge one of our volunteers who's here with us today, and Esteban Griego, welcome. And you'll notice he has an awesome t-shirt, by the way. But Esteban and Karen, who couldn't make it today, Karen Miller, they're part of our volunteers that work with animal welfare. And animal welfare, it's interesting because these are really like, ice cream and apple pie, like libraries and pets. These are non-controversial, typically things that everyone in the city loves, and our city does a great job at. And I think that's been the case, too, really for decades, and continues to be the case because of lots of help from our volunteers. And so I'll let or invite Esteban here to come up in just a minute. But his ability to understand animals' individual needs and provide a safe environment and giving animals extra time and attention is so important. And I know I have a dog myself and a loved one, and it's amazing how much, they really reflect the attention that you give them. And so it's so important that we have volunteers doing that at our shelters. And so, Esteban, we really appreciate it. And of course, our volunteers board and Patricia Chavez, thank you for continuing to do this each and every time. But thank you for putting in your hours too. And we also wanted to highlight, there's opportunities of all ages, so not to highlight somebody on the sort of younger side of things, but we always want to get our youth involved too. And in general, just folks who necessarily aren't retired, there's opportunities to get engaged for folks from all ages, all walks of life. So Esteban, come on up. Congratulations. So this is for you. It was a fun thing.
I really appreciate this, sir.
You got it. You want to share a few thoughts?
Yes, I would love to. I just want to say thank you to all the volunteers who show up continuously, help better the animals' lives. It means a ton to me. There are volunteers who aren't here with us today. They weren't able to make it. Karen Miller is one of them. She's fantastic, very loving, very empathetic. It's an important job that we do, and I just want to say thank you to all the volunteers who aren't here because it means a ton to me, truly. The last thing I want to say, Ronald Reagan once said, "Don't ask what your country can do for you, but ask yourself what you can do for your country." And that's how I'd like to leave this. Just an inspirational message to whoever's watching, and it's very impactful. Whatever you can add to your community, it adds value. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much, Esteban, and also Karen wish you could be here with us today, but I want to mention she's been doing it for 20 years. And so that was sort of our two ends of the spectrum there to highlight. And thank you, of course, Animal Welfare, for all you guys do each and every day. With that, we'll see you again for our next installment of awards, hopefully sometime in July. And thank you all for being part of living that one Albuquerque spirit. Thank you.